Hello, everyone. Welcome to CEO Sister Talk with your host, Rebecca Lynn Pope, and my co-host, Clarissa Wright Thomas, who will be coming on shortly. So excited about tonight's topic, guys. We are talking about business partners and associates and how to know when they are expired. How do you know when it's time to let them go? I'm bringing on Clarissa because we are back. CEO Sister Talk is back for another installment. Give me 1 second. There she comes.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, love bug. How are you?
I am wonderful. We are on set in Milwaukee this week for work, so different
I was about to say, what country are you in? What city are you in? Where are you at right now?
We are in Milwaukee.
You're in Milwaukee.
Yes. So happy Midwest, everybody.
Happy Midwest. You know, I love the Midwest. I'm from Ohio originally. Yep. Red, let me see, hold on. Red Go Get Us says pretty lipstick. We are becoming known for red lipsticks on here,
That's
Clarissa.
right.
We're becoming known for the red lip. We'll have to do a photo shoot with our red lips to represent CEO Sister Talk. Right. Okay, so tonight I introduced the topic before you came on, Clarissa. We are talking about business partnerships / associates and whether or not they are expired, and how to know if they are expired.
Yeah.
And guys, so we're covering both going into business with people as business partners, joint ventures, this kind of stuff. And we're also talking about the people who are your business associates.
Right. That's right.
So the people that you tend to hang around with or are your business friends, I think, is that a good way of saying that, Clarissa? What do you think?
That's right. I think it's a perfect way to describe those people, the types of relationships, and they're called so many different things. Sometimes, like you and I, we're business besties. Okay. Some people call that, oh, my business partner. Some people call that, oh, she's my good friend and she's my consultant. Like, so it has a bunch of different names and a ton of different faces. Yeah. So yes, we will talk tonight about ways to know when a partnership has expired, when it's time to move on, and how to do that with some dignity in class.
And guys, sometimes, you know, God is elevating your circles. He's elevating who you're around. I've been in Atlanta. Let's see, my youngest son is 20. I've been in Atlanta 20 years, Clarissa.
Oh, yes.
And in that time, I began to realize that for me, I had to become very particular about who I would give access to, who I'm going to hang around, who I'm going to be associated with. Because I began to realize that everyone's not a fit for who I am professionally, spiritually, heart posture, just all of it, that everyone's not a fit. How about you? Tell me, you know, Synergy PR has been in business for almost 20 years. In that time, what has your experience been like as far as the ups and downs with business partners, associates, people just wanting to associate you with business? What's your experience been?
So, and another hot term that's being used to label these things are collaborations. So that's the hot trendy term right now. So listen for that word too, guys. But yeah, of course, in business, when you've been in business as long as you and I have, you may not have a partner on paper, but you've joined forces with people and have done things, and I have been guilty by lack of association in a negative fashion. I have not known that somebody had a crazy past in history, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice person, and then you find out that they are not someone that you would agree with aligning your brand and a bunch of different things. So yeah, of course, I've experienced circle changes, opportunities changing and throttling you upward to where the people have changed. You look around and the people that you're in the room with are not the people you were sitting at the table with 5 years ago. So yeah, and it's the process of changing who's around you or dissolving partnerships. It can be painful, but it's not always because of something negative. So we'll talk about some of those things tonight.
So tell me this, what for you were some of the signs that some associations or partnerships were expiring?
Mm-hmm.
What were the pains? What were those glaring red flags that began to stand out to you to say, this isn't exactly feeling or flowing the way I thought
So
it would?
a change in values and value systems as we went along. You know how people start to level up in life. Say we're all from just the classic story. We were all raised in the hood, and one of us got a scholarship to Harvard. Now we come back home, and the place seems completely foreign. So sometimes it's just a matter of um, changing environments, or just the goals and values have changed, or you lose respect for the person just because maybe their work ethic isn't as high as yours, or maybe because the things they're aligning themselves with outside of the business venture you question, or you give a side eye like you're doing right now. There are lots of reasons. And irresponsibility. You have a partner who's irresponsible. There are a ton of reasons. So yeah.
One of the things I'll say is that, Dr. Yabo, hi, sweetheart. Good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
I literally, one of the things that sticks out to me is I think about, so here's something I'm really guilty of, Clarissa, is I will hang on to people. And so by the time I'm letting go, because I love people so hard, when I bring you into my inner circle, because first of all, I don't
Uh-huh.
do that a lot.
Yep.
I'm just not a very, like, I'm not a spread thin person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when I love you, I love you.
That's right.
And so when I think on some of these dissolved connections, I can honestly say, but hindsight's 2020,
Mm-hmm.
right? Looking back, these were beyond expired. These were like curdled milk expired, right? Like
Spoiled. Yes.
spoiled, like literally it had to reach crisis level, fall apart, crazy, like to where I'm like,
Yeah. Questioning everything. Yeah.
oh my God. Where it's almost like a force of God had to happen
To
to
pull it
make
apart.
me pull it apart. Because what I tend to do is my loyalty is such a core value
Mm-hmm.
for me that when I commit, it's like I'm all
Yeah.
in, and that loyalty and love is like this vicious kind of cycle. And I'm not as bad as I used to be, Clarissa, because I've had to learn my lessons
Mm-hmm.
about just being willing to let people go. But it came with pain.
Yeah.
It really did come with the suffering of holding on, because what I found I've done in the past is tolerate
Yes.
too much.
And most of the time we do for too long. Six situations pass when you should have left the first time. And the red flags show up. Red flags don't just exist in personal, or excuse me, in romantic relationships. They exist everywhere. The red flags are there. They continue to miss meetings. They continue to not pay their dues. They continue to fall through, or the things that are on their desk fall through, and you end up having to pick up the slack. Everyone's human. So there are going to be times where I have to lean on you for something, you'll lean on me for something. But if it's 80-20, that I don't like that lineup. I don't like that proportion. We don't like that. So your partner stops caring, and it starts to show along the way. So with you, I'm sure you ran into times where you're like, oh, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. No, she's not like that. No, she didn't mean that like that. No, she's just going through a rough time. So I know people have made excuses for people in their bad treatment in the past. So yeah, there are a ton of signs, but dishonesty, losing respect, not taking consideration for your time. I've had meetings where I've shown up, and an hour later they're texting, I'm on my way. Well, I'm gone. Now, my max is 15 minutes now. If you have not made it to the place and I haven't heard from you, I'm out of there in 15 minutes. On a Zoom call, 8 minutes.
Yeah, one of the things that I just thought about is work ethic and
Mm-hmm.
quality
Mm-hmm.
of work.
Yeah.
You could be doing the work, but the quality of the work is going downhill.
Yes.
And what I've noticed is it's very hard to critique or to give the feedback to these business partners and associates because you're supposed to be equals,
Yeah.
right? So it's not like it's really like easy or comfortable to kind of call someone out on their lack of quality control, their
Yes.
lack of follow through,
Mm-hmm.
their lack of attention, their lack of due diligence.
Yeah, it's like you're reading the notes that I have in my head and on my computer about tonight's conversation, because the next point was it fails to make progress. For some reason or another, the relationship or the work is not netting what it should. You know, you're like, I'm sitting at this computer for 10 hours. How come we haven't moved forward? And then you start to get the mentality of, like, when we were in high school and they made us partner on projects, everybody got an A, but you're the one who did all the work. And you're like,
This
So
isn't fair.
yeah, no, it's not. And they start to the alignment of values, and again, quality, but quality is not a thing that everybody has on their priority list. Some people, you've heard the quality over quantity. We've heard that, but quantity as the other part of that fraction exists for a reason, because some people believe in just pushing out numbers, getting like doing stuff and not really caring about quality control. You know, so it just depends. So that's important for alignment. Are you a person who works well under pressure, or do you like to pace yourself? It's there. That's two different
I'm
styles.
sitting here, I'm thinking about one particular situation where it also, you start to embarrass me.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I think
Yes.
that's kind of another kind of unspoken element.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very particular about
Mm-hmm.
results. I'm very particular about my brand. I'm very particular about being associated, like referrals, and
Yes.
like I I I don't want you, like, don't make me look bad,
And regret that
right?
I gave your name to someone. Yes.
Yes. And so some of the things that come to mind is, just completely dropping the ball with really high quality
Mm-hmm.
people that I
Yep.
referred.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sitting here feeling like, why did I even,
Uh-huh.
like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
so embarrassed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why did I even refer her to you? And
Mm-hmm.
and then the other element I've witnessed is arrogance,
Yes.
to where you don't even like own the lack of, because this isn't how you used to perform, because I wouldn't even have
In the
begun to
first
associate
place.
with you or partner with you if you performed like this originally. So obviously you have to know that this is slipping, right? Because apples and oranges, you're not, this is not what it used to
Yes.
be.
And when you align with someone, everybody has the best intentions in the beginning. Like you just said, you look and you say, this is not how you used to be. I would have never gone into this partnership with you had I known you were even capable of this level of non-care or low quality and things like that. So you have to, when defined outcomes are not being achieved, it's time for a conversation. So in the beginning, most partnerships come from people who are already affiliated in some kind of way. You've seen how
Right.
someone operates, or you've seen the way you love their work, you love the type of people they're working with. And you're like, oh wow, I need to be in that circle. So you align with people with the best intentions. And sometimes you're the person who's kind of messing up. But the thing that helps all situations is communication. If you're having a time where you know darn well you are not delivering like you used to, you have to be very honest with your partner. So the values to look for when you're aligning with people are honesty, number one, because that saves us a lot of trouble. If you're just very honest and say, I don't want to do this anymore. Life has gotten crazy for me. I can no longer commit the time. Hey, I don't think our personalities align. Um, there are two people who used to be in business. This is a real life story. Two people that used to be in business, same industry. One of them was super popular and had a wonderful work ethic. The other one was very popular, had a good work ethic too, but he was a little rough around the edges. They joined forces, business blew up. They made millions together, millions, millions, and millions together. One of them had a revelation. It hasn't been disclosed what the revelation was, but he left and left the country for like 6 months and came back. And you can tell there was a clear line in the sand now that he's not the person he used to be for his self betterment. But you can tell that the stuff that he used to do, it's not that it doesn't interest him, but it has become beneath him in his personal journey. And it's really painful to watch these two very popular figures who used to be in business, and when you see him, you know that's him. He's representing him. They used to have this thing where if you saw one, you know the representation was there for both. And now it's this weird, like, oh, did they have a falling out? Yeah, it's a weird split. So you have to do these things with dignity. And they finally, after about a year of everybody being confused, they finally sat down and made separate statements, but they are no longer in business or working together. They appear to still be friends, but they have just gone a completely different direction. So you can part ways with people, but dissolve things with dignity. First of all, you have to think of what is there to lose when I walk away from a business partnership or something that we've started and we've started to build and we got these people looking at us. You kind of have to look at what do I have to lose? What's the current health of the business? Because sometimes business is doing great. The money is doing what you want it to do, but it's the personalities or it's the lifestyles. Oh my gosh, he gets drunk, she gets drunk every weekend and she shows up to the meetings crazy, but when she's in her element, she's amazing. How long can you deal with that before you start to feel like, I don't even want to be associated with that. I don't do that. And I feel like I have to explain my partner's actions all the time. I just don't feel good about that. So there are ways to separate with dignity. You need to learn to talk without arguing. You need to learn to possibly get opinions from people who are in your circle that are trusted in your industry to just kind of say, am I saying this wrong? Because there are plenty of times that I see a situation a certain way and I'm thinking small, or I'm looking just at one point and I didn't know there were 5 other points. So y'all, it's deep. So questions about when you know it's time, when you're uncomfortable, when you stop having faith in the person, when you stop believing in what you guys built and created together. Somebody just said it's harder to break away if they're relatives or spouses. Facts. So you have to, going into business, we've heard this a lot of times, going into business with family or having family or friends work with you is the most difficult. It's very difficult because there's that personal element. There's that, I don't want to lose the person, but how do I separate them from my business without making them not want to talk to me ever again? So have you ever had an experience where you had to cut ties with a family member that was working with you or a very close friend?
Never.
Okay.
Right. When we brought up this topic for tonight, I told Clarissa, I said, yeah, Clarissa, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions and doing more like an interview style with you tonight because I didn't start collaborating with people, truly collaborating until like last year, because I have witnessed the pitfalls.
Yes.
Right. Dr. Yabo said we have very different work ethics.
Yes.
Like I think one of the things, and you guys have heard me talk about this before in some of our CEO sister talks, that I am someone who's constantly evolving. Constantly growing, constantly healing, constantly on my personal development journey. And as someone who's like that, where I was 6 months ago, a year ago, is not the same as where I am today. So it's very difficult to collab or partner with people if I'm always changing, if I'm always shifting, if I'm always growing. Like you're mentioning the 2 business partners where the guy had some kind of spiritual awakening, some type of like metamorphosis, something happened in his personal life. Well, I think that someone like me, I'm constantly evolving, Clarissa. And it's like, so, what used to be, what would have been, what was a fit for me 5 years ago isn't going to be a fit for me today in business or in business partnerships. I think I organically kind of like intuitively would feel like, I don't know if this can be a really long-term thing.
Yeah.
And so even if I wouldn't be able to identify why I wouldn't collaborate or why I didn't take on business partners, first of all, y'all know me, I'm going to keep it all the way 100. I never had anybody trying to be a business partner with me who wasn't trying to take advantage of me. Like, I'm just going to keep it 100. I have never, ever, like back when I owned my construction supply company, I didn't have anybody approaching me bringing something to the table to partner with me that was going to enhance
Yes.
or improve my business and my situation. It was really something veiled, but trying to take advantage of my business, trying to learn my business, trying to I had people tell me, years and years, decades ago, you look like money. Back before I even had money, you look like money. People would be drawn to me, Clarissa, attracted to me. They want to be around me because even when I didn't have money, I looked like I had money. Some a vibe, right? Let me get hold of this success and like get on this train with her. And so I guess, in my 20s and 30s, I had enough of those experiences that it was kind of like I became guarded.
Yeah.
I realized I had to protect myself, protect my businesses, listen to Holy Spirit, not let just anybody and everybody around me, because people will smile in your face and the whole time they're trying to take your place, backstabbers, right?
Okay,
Let me
OJs.
quote the lyrics.
Come on, OJs.
Right?
Yes.
Dr. Yobo says, this is why I avoid partnerships. I only hire experts and consultants and staff. Yes.
Yeah.
I have done the exact same thing because, even I think, doing the courses with some of my Master Abundant Life coaches is some of the first collaborations I've done. You and I collabing. This is a brand new, God has brought new experiences to be able to collab with women of integrity, women of faith, spiritual women that, God has brought me people to trust that are reliable and on the same page. And I'm grateful for that growth, but it has not always been like that for me in business, guys. I say you have to watch your back. I think you have to be careful of people who are trying to benefit off of your hard work.
Facts. And there are some people who look at you. There's a flip side to that too. Sometimes people want to partner with you because you're an underdog that they see that potential in, that once you get a hold of yourself, you're going to be their big competition. So you'll have to always look at people's motives when they're asking for a partnership with you, because, okay, what's in it for you? There has to be something in it for you. So you have to, first of all, collaborations are awesome. Collabing is where it's at. You have the responsibility. There's a ton of reasons to want to collaborate with people, but it's there's a way to do it safely. Create timelines. Let's try this for 6 months, but formally lay it out. Hey, let's see what this venture does. I like to err on the side of, let's do a venture together. Let's collaborate on this or that. But I mean, anytime you get into business or partner or even take a client, there's risk. There's always going to be some sort of risk to assess. So for yourself, I know for me, when I have leveled up in my business, it was always risky. I was always rolling some kind of dice and taking a chance. It's like, or even when you take your first really large contract, when you're used to this level, but then this level person comes after you, are you saying, no, I'm not qualified to take on your contract? No, you rise to the occasion. So sometimes you collaborate because either you need to level up or you want to pull somebody up, and it's a good thing. So collaborations, they don't always end because something is negative either. Sometimes you have to close out a collaboration because somebody died, somebody had a really life-shattering event that they are no longer capable of moving forward, or sometimes it is bad. They went to jail, they embezzled, they took from your own company. Rebecca and I have a friend in common who had a ton of money stolen from her from a business partner, a ton. And it's like, oh my gosh. So the level of trust, the level of honesty, these are things that need to be constantly checked. So I do think that something like having a quarterly meeting. Where are we? Let's gauge each other. Let's gauge each other's availability. Let's gauge each other's passion and desire to do this thing. What kind of money are we making? Is it worth our time? Because, and this is so funny, Rebecca knows how much her time is worth per hour. And I love that so much because a lot of times,
I swear you bring it up every other week. I'm like, Rebecca knows exactly what an hour of her time is worth.
Because people should know that. I love that so much because you literally, it was right. It was quick. You didn't have to, it was so quick. And I'm like, why don't I know what my hour is worth? Like, that's the thing. So y'all, there's a saying in life, know your worth, but y'all, in business, know your hourly worth. because every bit of your time is money. And if you know it costs $2,400 and something dollars, like Rebecca and Hope's cost per hour, then you know you can't spend time senselessly in a bunch of different places, or on people, or on ideas that are not worth that time. So yes, girl, I'm gonna bring that up.
You know, I say it every week. There's levels. There's levels
Yes.
to things, guys. There's levels. And you got to know what level you're on and know what level you're going to. You know, I think the other aspect for me too, and you know, I've been saying this for a while, is synergy, peace.
Yes.
There's got to be a flow to things. I've been saying lately, y'all, like one of my Millionaire Coach clients, we're getting ready to schedule her for a photo shoot in Atlanta for her Millionaire Coach photo shoot. And she's like, oh, wait, you know, how soon are we going to do this? And I said, with ease and flow. Yeah. We are going to, you know, with ease and flow and grace and peace. I don't need you rushing and stressing and being at a photo shoot stressed. And we're going to do this with peace and ease. And, you know, I think there's a lot to be said. I think if we're all honest, in any situations where we've gotten into trouble or got taken advantage of, or just found ourselves in really having to have uncomfortable conversations because we now have to somehow disengage ourselves or roll back a decision we made, a lot of the time those decisions were made from a place of fear, a place of rushing, or anxiousness, or desperation, or lack of faith, lack of self-worth, thinking you needed something that you could have done on your own, but you felt insecure about it, or you weren't, you know, addressing the fears in order to overcome those fears. Yeah, I've witnessed some of my clients, my business consulting clients, you know, get really taken advantage of, lose a lot of money, trusting the wrong person. Because one of the things, I'll say it again, just because someone smiles in your face, just because someone has a nice demeanor, just because someone seems to like you, you know, like you, respect you. There's one Millionaire Coach client in particular. I know someone she worked with previously and was taken advantage of in a really, really bad way. And I'll never forget, the same person had approached me about doing like a collaboration before that they approached her. And I had turned that person down flat.
Now, was it because you felt something like from their spirit? Like, why did you turn them down? What made you do that?
Because I didn't need him.
Okay.
Like, you know, I'm looking at who you are, and I'm saying, this is not a win-win. I see what you get by partnering with me, but what do I get from partnering with you? And I think you have to be careful, because people can be manipulative, guys. They can try to make you feel like you do need them, or that, you know, they'll try to twist that thing to where they'll have you feeling like you're not good enough and you do need them. And the devil is a lie. Like, no, I do not. You know, so, you know, I think that standing in your power is absolutely crucial. Operating from a place of peace. Everything that glitters isn't gold. In my, you know, all these years of business, Clarissa, I was talking to my therapist the other day, and I was telling her about the fallout from the TV show and my disappointment. And one of the things I said, guys, is I should have known when the contract came over. And the reality of what these contracts look like versus what people think they look like. And the whole, you know, image of television and being on television and people thinking that's big money. And I was already making big money. And I'm looking at this contract like, and I thought back, I revisited it all, and I thought, why did I decide to do that when right there in that moment is when I got very deflated, like, this don't make no sense. Like, this isn't making business sense. It was not a logical business decision. And I should have listened to that first instinct
Yeah.
Clarissa, and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I
And you paid for it.
didn't need them.
Yes.
I didn't need it.
Yeah.
They needed me.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate to talk bad. Oprah, I love you.
No.
I love you, Oprah.
No. And here's the
Just
thing.
not a TV show.
Let me support you in what you just said, because sometimes I'll go back to a point you made a few minutes ago. Sometimes people are meant to literally just be a respected colleague of yours. Sometimes we think, because like you just said, because they have a nice demeanor, you like them, that they're good to go into business with. Sometimes people just need to be your friend, period. No, just because they're good at being awesome doesn't mean they're good at moving stuff forward that you need move forward. So you have to know the difference between being, sometimes people just need to be your friend, like legit. I can't even say that more clearly. Like people and be hanging out with them, be friends with them, but you don't need them to move your stuff forward. So to support what you're talking about with the television show, it was something that was on your vision board. So it may have been difficult for you to see that something you put on your vision board wasn't something that you actually needed for your life. Because to you, you put on your vision board and it showed up. So a person like you who's spiritual, go ahead. Yeah, you feeling where I'm going here?
Now, Clarissa, and this also goes, you're hitting on a key point of what makes people go into these relationships with people in business.
Yes.
Is because honestly, you have these drives or these dreams or these feelings of wanting to have close friends and wanting to have connections.
Mm-hmm.
There's something personal inside of it driving you to make these business decisions. Yes. That are not wise, but you're doing it for personal reasons. You're mixing business and personal.
And look, since we're being transparent, I have very recently, within the last, I will just call it hours, there's a partnership that I had so much reverence for in my career. And still much respect on everybody's name involved. But recently there was a breakdown in communication with people that didn't involve me at all, but breakdown in communication between two other people that I'm mutually acquainted. It severed a tie for me with a long-term relationship that I had that was built on admiration in the beginning from me, because I looked up. Like I'm talking about, I was like googly-eyed in my industry, really googly-eyed about the opportunity to work on this particular project with this particular person. And over the years, it grew into a friendship, and it has just been this thing that I felt excited about. You know, even if we don't talk often, it's like, hey, thank you for changing my life. Well, recently, there was, like I said, a breakdown in communication. And when it came my way, when the blowback hit me, I didn't expect it at all. Like it hit me like out of the blue. And I felt myself getting so like worked up. And then I had to check myself. I was like, wait, the person you were 5 or 6 years ago when you first got into that enamored relationship, why am I acting crazy about not working with them? Because I'm actually bigger than you now. So why am I, but your mind stays, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, the reverence was there, because I don't care how big I get. After somebody puts me in position, I will always have this love and this, girl, if it wasn't for you, I would not have been able to. So I will always carry that. But I was like worked up. I'm talking about, I was
and
you know how you start to send a text message.
Bertha, you preaching.
Friend,
you just say a whole sermon. It's a whole sermon. I promise you, it's a whole sermon.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm gonna be like.
That's why we have these talks, because people are going through similar things and they just don't know. I have to check myself. I mean, I was going through the airport and I got the phone call, and it was immediate devastation. Not in a like cry way, but just like I don't even like the way this feels. And I started to get worked up, and then I sat down and I said something. I was like, you know what? I have learned that when something or someone does not want to be around me anymore, let it go immediately. I don't even need to understand why. I don't even have to figure that stuff out. And then I'm sitting there on the plane, because I had nothing but time, sitting there, and I was like, wait, girl, you've leveled up in this way. They've actually leaned on you 50 times since then. I'm bigger than the old opportunity. And I'm bigger than some of the stuff that you thought you were bringing my way. But I realized I was doing a favor. So the thing you moved off my
You're
plate,
bigger than the opportunity.
Yes.
I need whoever that is for on this live right now and in the replay, is about to make a decision because you're thinking you need something or you thinking it's big. You are bigger than this opportunity. You've got to be so careful. Guys, I had a whole television show only to get on there and find out I was already bigger than the show. I was already bigger than what this opportunity on the surface level seemed to be bringing me. I was beyond it. Everybody around me, the executive producers, the whole team, the production team, everybody is like, yeah, they ain't gonna rock with you too well, Rebecca, because they can't control you. They can't manipulate you. You got your own money. You got your own platform. You got your own everything. You sitting over here with 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Like they don't like it. They're used to dealing with people that are on the come up, and then they're dangling things to get them to do what they want to do, dangling carrots in front of you to get you to manipulate you, to get you to do what you want to do. And I did not. So we have to stop and realize, guys, sometimes we're dealing with an identity issue. We're not. We are not where we used to be. There's a reason they're coming at you now with this, right?
Yes.
Honey, be careful. Just y'all be careful, because that's for somebody. I'm telling you, Clarissa preaching.
It is for somebody. It's for a lot of us, because like you were just talking about, with those type of opportunities, when they come forward, typically the people on the other end of that opportunity, they are reeking of desperation. So that contract, honey, they're going to sign it without even looking. I don't need a lawyer to look at it. I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be on TV every week. I'm signing. Now, you did not have desperation. You didn't even have desperation. But to you, like I said, it was on your vision board. So sometimes we have to reassess our thoughts and even our own visions, because look, when you made that vision board and your dream, yes, ma'am, you put that together before you developed who Rebecca Lynn Pope was, this version of Rebecca Lynn Pope that we see and learn from and gain intelligence and knowledge and forward movement from. That is not the same person who put the TV show on the vision board. Now, you were on the way, but you're bigger than the opportunity when it came your way. So y'all,
think you have to be careful. Update your dreams. Update what it is you think you need and want. Don't operate from somewhere you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because this stuff will keep you get you into situations and keep you in situations where you're not fulfilled, you're not happy, because it's not a fit for who you are any longer. Then God has to disentangle you from these situations. Because, I think that one of the things that's hardest for big-hearted, love-centered business owners is that we will tend to be too hard on ourselves.
Of course.
Like, there's this thing I posted from a research in psychology. There's actually a name for it, that less than intelligent people think they're brilliant, and highly intelligent people doubt themselves and will constantly kind of doubt, their abilities, their worth. Like, even on very high levels, they're amazing, but they're just like, they feel like they're a little less than amazing, and there's this humility that comes with it. And so I think that one of the things that's really hard for us, and I'll say that for myself, is that we can be so powerful, guys, and still be living beneath our birthright, living beneath our true identity and walking in our true power, because we're so hard on ourselves. And that affects how we show up. It affects what we accept, what we will, take on. It shows up in a lot of different ways.
So I'll say this, and this is going to sound harsh, but I'm not a harsh person. And it may not sound harsh because some of y'all are already operating like this. Sometimes your humility and your humbleness are the things that keep you in these low spaces, because you're like, I'm humble. Oh, sometimes y'all, you got to flex. You can still be humble and flex. You can flex and still be a nice, beautiful human being. But back to the situation with me, I had to flex on myself, because I'm like, girl, are you serious? Like, I actually started to chuckle on the plane. The guy looking at me saw that I didn't have my headphones, and I'm like, I know he thought I was crazy, but I'm like, I'm sitting over here about to be mad, and I don't even care. Like, I actually
Oh,
don't
okay.
even
Now,
care.
here's the reality, y'all. We have to be careful what we put on our plate.
Mm-hmm.
Because real talk, there's only energetically so much space
Yes.
on our plate to
Yes.
take on. And if you put something on your plate, it's displacing or taking the place of something else. And sometimes God is holding space for the greater thing,
Yep.
or he's got to make space for the greater thing by escorting these old things out of our lives. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy. Listen, I had a hairdresser for 10 years. 10 years. We became like best friends. Now, you know how you are with your hairdresser, right?
Yeah.
No lie, God just removed her from my life. Like this crazy situation. Things had been, weird with her for several years. I love her, love her, love her. But things just got literally 2.5 years ago, it just blew up and things were crazy. And I was like, I couldn't even make any excuses for anyone. And I refused to chase her. She didn't apologize. There was nothing, just nothing to work with. And I was like, okay, God literally removed this person from my life. Guys, listen, in the 10 years she was doing my hair, phenomenal hairdresser. I mean, wigs, extensions, color, cuts, anything. Just, guys, no lie. I just said this the other day. In the last 2.5 years, my hair, I've been saying my hair hasn't been this long since high school. My hair has never been this long as it is right now. God has a way, like you think God's removing somebody for one reason and this or that. Let me tell you something. God is working things out for you on so many different levels. If God had never removed her, I would have never had my natural hair grow out to this level. God with different people that maintained my hair differently than she did, that it wasn't over processed or over colored or over straightened. My hair grew like a weed. And I'm sitting here now wearing my own hair, my own God. Listen, see, we preaching, Clarissa. My own God-given natural hair growing out my roots of my head, and I have literally not worn my hair ever. Right? I've always been wearing extensions and wigs and everything, guys. And it's literally, I'm sitting here like, wait, I wouldn't even have had this hair.
If you still
didn't even know my hair could grow this long. And it's down my back. And you sit and will hold on to people, guys, and we don't realize that God has some things on the other side of letting these people go that goes beyond what you think it's all about. God is manifesting greater in your life, but we have to be willing to let go. Every time I get ready to go chase her, because that thing hurt me, I love her. I love her to this day, love her to pieces. Everything I get ready to pick up the phone, Carrie said, don't you call her. She ain't called you. Rebecca, you always will be the one taking the high road, right? You're always the one reaching back out. You're always the one. And I left it, and I never heard from her again. 10-year friendship.
Did you feel weird about the lack of communication coming your way? Like, do you have her feelings about that? Have you had some sort of discovery about that?
Hold on, Carissa, you were breaking up a little bit. The internet in the hotel might be acting up. Say that again.
How do you feel about her lack of communication coming back towards you? Do you feel hurt about that, or are you just like, done?
Let me tell y'all something. See, my friends, the way I am with my friends, they're like sisters, like family. I'm an orphan. Y'all know my parents are gone. My sister's gone. So my girlfriends, my friends are like my family. And so this 10-year friendship she was like a sister. It was like we do holidays together. I'm talking about when I was single. This is before I was even married, y'all. We do Thanksgivings together. That thing broke me down, Clarissa. When I say that thing broke me down, I mean, I was hurting so bad over feeling like losing her, like. And it made me have to confront my adult orphan syndrome. It made me have to confront abandonment issues, because I'll hold on to people, guys, from all, the stuff I've had to work on healing. But no matter what, it's still there. You
Yes.
can work on healing stuff and it gets easier. But honey, listen, no, that first 60 days, when I would go to pick up the phone, Carrie say no, and I was just going to wait on, I'll say, well, I'll wait for her to call.
Yeah.
That was the first 60 days. I was like, I'm just going to wait for her to call because
Yeah.
she'll be ready.
Yes.
That call never came.
Oh my gosh. Ooh,
And the longer it went, then I went into grief.
Yes. Yeah.
I began to grieve. Like, this chick ain't gonna call me.
Yes. Yes.
10 years raising our boys together, 10 years. Yes. You ain't gonna call me?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. You know, so I went through grief, and I went through all the 5 stages of grief. Anger, right? I went bargaining. Well, maybe if I just call her because she's going through.
Or she waiting on me to call her. Like she want, okay. Maybe she's thinking like I'm thinking. Yeah, nope.
Never. And I had to sit with that, and I had to then, and literally I watched my life begin to take off in a different direction, because sometimes these connections, you guys, listen, the connections are expired and you don't realize. See, scripture says that bad company will corrupt you.
Yes.
And we don't realize, see, there's some things you often don't know about people you're associating with. A lot of the time they will hide things from you. They have secrets. There's stuff going on with them that you don't know about. And God's got to protect you from the situations you don't even know about. Like, because there's stuff that I started learning later on, like,
you did me a favor by not calling me. Yeah. Yep.
So God had to really protect me. God had to remove, because I would have never let her go.
Well, you have to, sometimes your lens gets changed the further you move away from a situation, or the further something moves away from you, because like you said, your hair grew. Why would your hair grow inches on inches on inches when you had a phenomenal hairstyle? Because I bet you were looking sharp when she was doing your hair. You were looking good.
Slayed.
That's that thing about all that glitters ain't gold, honey, because there might have been other things. And that's why we have to be careful about the spirits and stuff we have around us. Not saying she's a bad person, not at all.
No.
But I'm saying, like, but what are the reasons that your body would start to flourish? You know what I'm saying? Appointed things such as hair for women, we notice changes in that right away. Oh, girl, your hair getting long. Look at your hair. Okay, your hair looking thicker today. We notice.
Why everything go to the next level? Right? Everything went to the next level.
Yes.
Everything.
Yep.
And Clarissa, this is what I'm saying. I think that more than anything that we need to point out in this conversation is that you are the average of the 5 people closest to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you need to look at each one of those people, and you need to be honest with yourself about the influence they have on your life, because oftentimes we are in denial. We think that we are influencing them. I always thought I was influencing her. Not really.
You learn that after the fact. These comments are coming in and they are good. Okay, one person has something that I also agreed with. She might have been secretly envious or something. And you don't want to think that about people that are your friends. You do not want to ever think that, because I've heard it. Oh, that person seems like they're jealous. I'm like, girl, that's my friend. She's been, no, you just don't know her. And then something happens and you're like, oh, well, that looks weird. And then someone else, personal assistant, I feel like my friend was entangled in witchcraft. Honey, I have a story about that. A big, huge, there are so many different things. And these are reasons you need to pay attention to the things that people are doing, that even if they're not affecting you negatively, what are they doing to other people? I have a friend who is going through a breakup, and off again, on again, this guy was between her and another girl all the time, years, like 7-8 years worth of this. He with her, then he's back with you, and you thinking you won the guy. Well, the girl, the opposition, and this is so childish and petty. Oh my God, I can't. But this is the situation. So the young lady who was on the other end of the triangle, her mother had gone into the hospital, and I witnessed my friend. To this day, I still side-eye her, and we're not as close as we were. She doesn't even know this. She got on her knees and started to pray that the mother would die. And I was like, I'm talking you know how you're watching a movie and something starts happening crazy and somebody's grabbing their purse and keys and getting out of a situation quick because they are confused. And like, when she did that, because she's a very God-fearing person, and when she got on her knees, I'm like, wow, this is big. Now she's gonna get on the floor
She's
and pray for this
praying
woman's mama.
for her, right? That's a lot. That's right.
She literally out of her mouth is talking and asking for this lady's health to decline to the point where the girl cannot be consumed with the guy anymore. She was praying it, and I was like stunned. And not a lot scares me, not a lot stuns me. I've seen it all. I got the hell out of Dodge, because if you would do that, that lady's mom didn't do anything to you. All over a guy, I was just so confused. But then I was like, you know what? All of the times when I felt weird about something that happened, I was like, let me be careful, because not that I'm scared of her, but like I said, she wasn't doing anything to me. But what did you think I was going to think seeing you do this ritual? So, Miss A's personal assistant, if you think your friend might be entangled in witchcraft, she probably is, because that's something scary to witness. But yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
I have said this for years, and I've lost friends over this. When I have seen like I'm not friends with women who date married men.
Yes.
I'm not friends with women who will go behind trying to cheat with men, even if he got a girlfriend. You know, I've had standards for my friendships and connections, guys, that oftentimes are, oh, you're judgmental. Who are you to judge? You know, you over here sleeping with so-and-so, you have a boyfriend. No, that's different. That's a dude I'm dating. Hello, if you will sleep with a married man, if you will be this treacherous, right, then what would you do to me? What would you do to someone else? Like there's certain things to me that are signs, right, of deeper things. And I think one of the things that we have to do, especially for business as well, is stop being so effing naive.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, people show you who they are, you guys. They show you repeatedly. You just don't want to believe it. I know for me, I just never thought you would eventually treat me like that. I saw how you treated other people. I saw your selfishness. I saw the lack of morals and standards. I saw the low self-esteem and how it would play out, because low self-esteem and hurting people can be treacherous, and you have to be very careful. And guys, but the thing is when you love them, you'll make excuses.
Of course. And T. Nasher just said,
until it comes around and bites you in the butt.
That's right. You want to see the good in people and everyone, like T. Nasher just said. None of us ever thinks we're friends with like diabolical people. Like none of it. And if you do know that and you are in it and you're not having a problem, then honey, you probably diabolical too, and that's why it doesn't bother you. But the young lady who had the witchcraft friend, she said that her friend, in the comments, she joined a chanting group and asked her to join, and she refused, so the friend cut her off. Honey, let that girl cut you off and go on about your business, because it's just weird stuff that makes your spirit shake. Girl, just move away.
Everything isn't for everybody.
That's right.
And you know, I think that y'all know, I'm a little older. I got a grandbaby. I'm getting a little older, y'all. As I get a little older, I'm so comfortable keeping my own company, because when we're younger, a lot of the time we're looking for these connections and friends, and you can be doing things for all the wrong reasons, and you'll accept people into your life that are not good for you. Right. And one of the best things you can do, even in business, is get really, really tight with yourself. Be okay. If it takes you being by yourself for a while until God brings you better people and better connections, then baby, you better wait.
Oh, that's right. The Southern African girl said, I always believed that when I was young, but being surrounded by messy people somehow made me okay with this behavior, but it just never feels right. That's right. You get so used to your trauma or your whatever you were raised with that it's your norm, and when you get around other stuff, that feels weird. But you're like, oh, this is the same way to do it. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
so
Oh my God.
grateful.
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
so grateful for the women in my life now. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
grateful. You don't realize that God's got to out with the old, in with the new. And
That's right.
sometimes also for somebody else as well. Just because it's been 10, 20, 30-year friendships, associations, you've been
Right.
knowing somebody, 20 years, doesn't mean that they're good for
No,
you. It don't let the timestamp hold you
that's
hostage
right. Oh,
to
that's a
people and
word.
situations,
That's a word.
because you can meet somebody tomorrow who is more aligned with who you are right now, can love you for who you are now without judging you for everything
Mm-hmm.
from 20 and 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
God can give you new connections today that will outshine and have more connection and depth than people you've had for 30 years.
And sometimes you have to check yourself because there's always the flip side to everything we talk about. What if you are the person who is bringing somebody else down? What if you're the person who is starting to become envious because somebody who you've been friends with is prospering in ways that you hoped to, but they just somehow figured out the formula and they're doing it? You have to, if you want to be successful, you have to be okay rooting for other people, number one. And if you don't, then why? Like, why? But be okay seeing other people successful, because again, if you are the sum total of the 5 people closest to you, then your success is on the way. If everybody around you is successful, then honey, take the tips from your friends. What did you do to do this? Okay, what'd you do? Start to revamp yourself according to the things that are working for the other people. You may not have the same area of grace. Some people have the gift of gab and they can get any money, any contract. Some people have great work ethic that you're going to outwork somebody else. Somebody's talent may be good, but somebody's work ethic may be better, that they get ahead of that talented person because they keep their head down and they work. So becoming a person who, when you become successful, people do one of two things. They either clap for you and they are clapping, they pushing for you, they pushing you along, girl, what can I do to help you? Or they getting quiet. They're getting quiet. Don't be the person who's sitting quiet in the corner while people are becoming successful. Figure out a way to get it for yourself. And if you are the person who's kind of like getting weird or getting uneasy with somebody around you elevating, then do something to elevate yourself. Don't be telling them stop reading all those books. Don't tell them to stop going to those conferences. Don't be hating on somebody because they spent their last $100 to go to a women's convention that they know can change their life. Don't be a naysayer in other people's dreams either. So there's a flip side of them. That's the flip. If you are the hater or you the person who's dragging people down, find a way to redirect that energy, because there's something great waiting for you on the other side too. You just can't find it because you're
Yeah.
blind with whatever else.
I saw a quote last week I read several books at the same time. I can't remember what book it was, but it
Uh-huh.
said, whatever you resent in others, you are denying to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful with your emotions around envy and
Yeah.
jealousy and whatever you're trying to hold back or resenting for someone else or not wanting them to have it. Guess what? You can't clap because she lost 30 pounds.
Right.
You feel some type of way, your 30 pounds ain't going nowhere, because you can't be happy for her losing hers. Somebody getting married, falling in love, having a
Yep.
baby. You
Yep.
can't be happy for them. Yours, you holding up and blocking your blessings.
Right.
Whatever you resent in others, you are blocking in your own
Oh.
life. And, you know, one of the things, I was just sitting here thinking about the changes I've made in my life in the last 5 to 10 years. I've become a lot more selective,
Mm-hmm.
guys. I have begun to vet more.
Mm-hmm.
I've begun to pay attention. This is in business and friendships,
Mm-hmm.
all the way around. You have to become, I've, I think that my heart, my servant leadership heart, my heart after God has made me not vet people,
Yeah.
not judge. You don't want to judge. You want to be loving. You want to accept people and believe in the best for people. But as I've gotten older, look, y'all, everybody can't go.
No, they can't.
Everybody, God loves everybody, but everybody can't hang with me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can't roll tight with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
My standards, my boundaries, everything about how I roll, everyone can't roll. But I had to get to a place of clarity about
And
that
be
and
okay
understanding and
with
like
it.
peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being okay okay with the fact, like, nah, I'm not everybody's cup of tea now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't really know me. You think you know me, you know, but you don't really know me. And so, yeah, you know, getting to that place of being selective in business and personal and
Mm-hmm.
every area of life is absolutely a must.
It's a necessity because when you start to go away from the things that bring you peace, you sit here in all this noise and you're like, how did I get here? Because I'm a peaceful person. How did I get around all this stuff? Because you're not leading with the right thing when you're selecting. You do have to get selective as you get older, as you grow into greater success, as your life expands. Because guess what? You know the girls who used to be the drunks in college and acting crazy, now they're the best soccer mom ever. You're like, oh, she rose to the occasion, because having these
Yes.
children means that you cannot do that stuff anymore. Some people get it and other people don't. So when you are a constantly evolving person, you don't always have to have the exact same, like everything is the people you're around. But if you see that they are also an ever evolving person, then it's like, oh, okay, I can learn from you. I want to be in partnerships, no matter what type of relationship we have, with someone that I can learn from, someone that I can admire certain parts of their personality. Um, People that make me smile just because they're awesome at what they do. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, look, be selective. You deserve it. Your business deserves it. Your relationship, your peace of mind deserves it, and your legacy deserves it. Don't
And
be,
your
yeah, be
money
careful.
deserves it.
There it
These
is.
messy, crazy people be messing up your money too. Don't get it twisted. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, listen, y'all better be careful, because listen, you when you lose focus and you lose peace, you lose money.
That's right.
It's that simple, right? So people who are not aligned with who you are and don't belong in your life will also mess up your money. That's a whole nother
No, no,
conversation.
thank you. No, thank you.
Right, right. Anyway, guys, that is our time. Somebody says, what are the characteristics of a quality friendship? We can talk about that on our next show. Bring that
We
up
will.
in our next live, guys. Listen, thank you so much. Clarissa, parting words?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for all the good commentary. We're glad that we're talking about things that generate conversation, because we are in this together. CEO Sister Society is here to be a thing, a group, not a chanting group, but a group of women who are like amazing and want to build each other to amazingness. So my parting words for tonight are: love yourself and really know your worth and know your dollar worth per hour. But also, jump on over to my page if you need help with anything public relations, anything forward facing for your business, for your personal brand. We've got courses on PR do's and don'ts, how to become PR ready, how to open your own PR agency. So check that out. And don't forget to join our newsletter. The link is in both of our bios for our CEO Sister
Yep.
Society newsletter.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Clarissa. Make sure you hop over to Synergy PR and follow Clarissa on her page as well. Guys, you know that we start a new cohort to become a certified abundant life coach on the 26th. If you're wanting to start a certified abundant life coach business, click the link in my bio to apply today, because that's coming up in like 2 weeks. You want to make sure you get into that cohort. Also, the Divine Dating Workshop has been opened back up for 24 hours. It closes at 12 midnight tonight. We opened it back up because so many people emailed us about permanently closing it. So it's open until midnight. Make sure you get in there if you know that you're needing help learning how to date as well. And please, like Clarissa said, make sure you subscribe to our CEO Sister Society newsletter. We will be in contact, and see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. for our next CEO Sister Talk. We love you. Mwah. Blessings in abundance. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.